And we're back with part 2 of Morgan Quinn's script, Australian Pop Culture, part 1 with Bert Newton.
That's correct, yes.
Alright, Morgan, let's take it away.
Alright. Somewhat calmer, snot is running from his nose. He's red in the face, struggling to breathe through his words.
I was so young, so handsome.
The camera turns so that Bert appears vertical, and his face slowly changes to that of a middle-aged Bert, certainly not handsome. Internal, South Yarra Studios backstage corridor, still a close-up on Bert.
Which I've noticed you've spelled differently to the last 1,000 times you wrote his name.
When you're writing biopics and spec scripts and you need to keep yourself engaged, you need to keep yourself interested. So sometimes I'll throw myself a bit of a curveball and misspell certain words for my own entertainment.
That doesn't make any sense, but let's continue. I'm actually kind of getting into this now.
Still a close-up on Bert, who is in the prime of his career. Pan out to see that he is striding down a hallway, flocked by his entourage. John Foreman, GMA's musical director, Matthew Newton, Bert's son, and Turtle from Entourage. Text appears on screen. 1995. Network 10's South Yarra Studios. A stagehand appears. Another great show, Mr. Newton. It's total Bertlemania out there today. Here, these are from your many teenage but legal female fans. The stagehand hands sage, along with other herbs and flowers, to Bert. I think they want to have sex with you. The fans, that is, not the flowers. Another stagehand appears. Maybe both. Bert takes the flowers and discards them into a space, which is quickly filled by a trash can, held by stagehand number 2, who trips over during its provision.
I think that fish I had for lunch has given me indigestion. I can hardly breathe. Never again. Never fish.
Bert angrily opens a nearby door and slams it. The sound comes slightly after the visual. Do you want to play John Foreman?
Okay. You know what they say, Bert. You are what you eat. Really? 'Cause you sure don't look like my elbow.
Quick as a flash, Bert bites his bottom lip and furrows his eyebrow as he elbows John Foreman in the mouth, hard. Freeze frame on John. Text appears on screen. John Foreman, Good Morning Australia's musical director, Bert's most loyal and oldest friend, on his 5th set of false teeth. Unfreeze. Everybody laughs. John picks up his teeth from the ground. Matthew Newton is laughing like an absolute weasel.
Fooled you again, Foreman. Fish and I have a special bond. We would never give each other the hiccups.
Good one, Daddy.
Matthew shines Bert's elbow weirdly, like it's the only physical contact he's allowed with his father his entire life. Freeze frame. Text appears. Matthew Newton, Bert's son, recently graduated from Xavier College. Xavier College students were later contestants on Go Go Stop.
Now, son, what have I told you about groveling? Speak up when you're doing it.
Hey, Bert, what do you think of this for a nickname? The Tortoise.
And this is Turtle from the show Entourage.
Yeah, so this is a new character who's just he's part of the Entourage for Bert, and yes, it is Turtle from Entourage, pre-Entourage.
Yeah,
so now
this is
we're
1995, and
that's
Entourage
right.
was mid to late 2000s.
So this is before he's met E, Johnny Drama.
But he's the same age as he is in Entourage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Turtle doesn't age.
Yeah.
But he does speak in his native Australian accent, because not many people realise that Turtle was actually born in Australia. And so we're about to find out a bit.
I think they don't realise that because it's not true.
Well, you say that, but we'll find out when we read on in the script whether or not that's true. So, Turtle. Hey, Bert, what do you think of this for a nickname? The Tortoise. Freeze frame, text appears. Turtle, Bert's driver, wants a new nickname.
No, Turtle. I like Turtle for you. And Turtle, you must call me B. And remember, as my driver, Turtle, you must always wear this hat.
Bert puts a baseball cap on Turtle.
And Turtle, you must always, Turtle, speak to me with a New York accent, Turtle. Queens, to be exact.
John Foreman, through bloodied mouth.
See? Even John's got it down pat.
This is Patty Newton now.
And I know a Pat who would like to go down on her John, see?
Wicked fast pan around. A sexy mama is walking down the corridor in slow motion towards the lads. After a few seconds, she walks past camera, and Patty Newton, Bert's wife, is revealed to be behind her. Text, Patty Newton, wife of Bert Newton, That's her only role in this thing. She is saucy and horny as ever and stands with one hand on her replacement hip while the other hand deftly unpeels a banana. She takes a significant bite. Quick pan back to the lads. Bert is bracing himself with one hand on each of his compadres, John and Turtle, as if to say, "Let me handle this, boyos."
Sorry, boys.
Bert loosens his tie.
But I think this calls for some quality time with the family.
Matthew pokes his head through. Oh, cool, Dad. Can we have lunch on Brighton Beach?
There's only one place in this town where you can eat pussy for lunch.
Bert walks off with Patty, spanking her ass as they walk. She squeals, aroused, and so moist. We pan back to the lads, in awe of their hero and mentor. They shake their heads, wowed. Matt, their son, seems especially excited that it looks like his parents are about to bang. During this sequence, we can still hear Bert spanking Patty's ass over and over and over. Fade to external. Top floor of a youth hostel. The windows are rattling, and moaning is heard from inside the building. Quick pan down to show that Bert and Patty are arriving at Chinese Noodle King. Bert is still spanking Patty's ass, and she is still enjoying it as much as ever. A waiter immediately takes care of the couple.
Just the usual, Mr. Newton?
Yes, one serve of pussy with rice.
Very good, sir. And for the Mrs. Newton? Just some water. I filled up on banana earlier. Very good.
The waiter leaves and the couple sit comfortably in silence for a moment.
Say, Patty, something's been on my mind since we left the studio. What was that you said earlier in the hallway? I think you said, I know a Pat who would like to go down on her, John. See?
The waiter brings food while they are talking. It's a lot of food for two people. It gets to the point where Patty and Bert can barely see each other across the table.
Oh, that. Yes, well, I suffer from early onset dementia, so sometimes I say things that, well, appear to make no sense at all, but may seem sexual in nature.
Ah, right you are.
On a similar topic, Bert, why was it that you were spanking my bottom for this past hour?
Also early onset dementia.
I had thought as much.
The two chuckle to themselves. This joke goes back a ways for them apparently, and they know just how clever it is, but they still enjoy it, even though it makes no sense. They clink glasses.
So Bert, how's it all going? Being a homosexual, I mean. Have you found a man to have sex with?
It's not easy, Patty. Some days I look around this city and think, besides myself, Bert Newton, is there even a single gay man living in Melbourne, the capital of Australia?
A gay pride festival proceeds on behind them.
Oh, Bert, sweetie, why don't you just kill yourself?
Patty, our son.
Matthew, yes, I know. An utter disappointment. So why don't you just kill yourself?
I know to you that Matthew may just be a disappointment, but to me, Matthew is also just a massive disappointment.
Don't you remember what it was like before Matthew, Bert? Don't you remember the suicide pact we made?
Bert gazes off into the horizon, nostalgic. He chuckles to himself.
Ah, Patty.
Bert pats Patty's patter, her hand.
Those were the naive dreams of a young Bartholomew Newton. I'm older now, more refined and more experienced. Those dreams are dead, and I can face the reality now.
Reality? What is the reality, Bert?
That I ain't ever gonna die.
Bert shots his drink, gets up, throws his napkin on the table along with a wad of cash, and whistles for a taxi.
Okay, I'm gonna stop there because I can see that there's 148 more pages of this.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't need to read anymore. I don't need to hear anymore.
But what you do need to know is that those pages are dense. It's not like I've just written a whole bunch of stage directions and narration that will never be read out to an audience. Like there's dense story and dialogue in those next 148 pages. So
let me just say the things I liked. I loved the amount of research you put into it.
Thank you.
I loved that Patty was a fully fleshed out female character with her own sexual desires, because I think that a lot of females aren't 3D characters like that anymore. And honestly, I love the character of Bert Newton so much so that I would like to play him if and when we get this into production.
So wait a second. So what you're saying is that you think you'd be better for the role of Bert Newton than Bert Newton would be?
Yes, current Bert Newton. Yeah, a young Bert Newton would have probably been okay. But I really related to a lot of the character bits in there, and I saw myself in that character, and I thought my performance was incredible.
It wasn't bad. Let me rebut with this. What if you auditioned to play modern day Bert Newton, and Bert Newton played young Bert Newton?
If that's what it's going to take for you to sell me this script, I'll sign right now.
Well, take it off my hands, because at this point it's just a burden. Like every day it's just more and more pages. I can't even get onto episode 2.
I think we turn this into a full-on miniseries. And you've got yourself a deal, my man.
All right.
Shake it.
That's a stone cold deal. Well, thank you for joining me today, Declan, on my...
Hold on, this is my show.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. So next week on Pitch Me a Show, we've got Morgan Quinn. You're booked in again to show me your Andrew G versus Osher Gunsberg.
Well, actually, that
series.
one's already been optioned by Stan, so I'm not going to be able to read that out because that is in pre-production at the moment.
Okay.
But what I can do for you is bring in the scripted version of Hot Dog's Up Late game show that I've been working on.
That
And we
sounds
do have
great.
some very exciting people auditioning for that. Andrew Osher, Andrew G, and I think Andy Gunsberg is also going to be turning up. So that'll be next Monday.
I'll see you next week then for that pitch. Can't wait. Thanks to our sponsors, the Hot Dog Man out the back and the lemonade stand out the front, the little kid with the missing 2 front teeth. Thank you everybody for tuning in.